Thanks, David. Thanks. Good morning. I'm very happy to be here today, very far from Montreal, whereas I don't know if you guys have been in Montreal. It's pretty cold there. So I'm happy to be here for two reasons. First one, it's Vegas, it's warm. The second one is really I want to share with you my experience winning with analytics at Master, and also the experience that I can share with you guys through the book. So I don't know what's happened. We're going to get there. Okay, here we are. So the presentation today is really just sharing the story, how you can win with analytics from ground up. As David mentioned, I had the opportunity to really build up the global business intelligence team at Master, starting in Canada, Montreal, and expanding that success in US, and then Europe, and then Asia Pac. I have a lot of slides that I can share with you today, 25. That's a lot. But the good news is I want you guys to keep only 5 of them, 5. And I will remind you which one you should keep. So before we get started, I'm going to do a very quick survey. How many of you heard about Master? Raise your hand. Great. Wow. And how many of you have their resume on Master site? Yeah, good. And how many of you visited Master over the last 6 months? Thank you. So I think we have a lot of work to do to make sure that you guys are being active on the site. But the brand awareness is good, like 95%. We can save some money from marketing, investing on brand awareness. Just kidding. So our presentation today is here. We're going to talk about, give you some background about Master. We talk about big data. I think you guys heard big data a lot of times. It's a buzzword. How big data comes with challenges, but also with some opportunity to innovate, to do things that before we're not able to do. And then give you some highlight about the solution at Master, but also the book. So let's get started with Master. Master has been the pioneer in the industry of online recruitment, the first job site and the 454.com company. Just imagine, today we're talking about hundreds of millions .com company. Master has been there from the get-go, number one. This is back in 1996, Master site. The website was looking like that. This is Master. Pretty cool. So a lot of changes happened before year 2000. And this is the site today. Extreme makeover, huh? Before and after. So our goal is really at Master is to make sure we can connect people to improve their life. We have two different set of people. We have employers from the left hand. We have job seekers, people like you looking for a job, and how we can make sure those two match. And Master use modern, its own site to make that connection. We make sure that people can connect to job opportunities through our website, mobile, social networking. We have some partner with newspapers. We have some specialized site, military.com. We have also Career Ad Network. We have the USA, and now this is really pretty cool. This is our new latest innovation called CMO. It's a technology based on semantic search that helps employers to find candidates they're looking for based upon context, concept, and also provide business intelligence. Pretty simple. You're looking for someone that went to MIT, has 3-year experience, live in Boston. Before, we used to do that search based upon keyword. And now, we don't use keyword. We use semantic search, meaning with those criteria, the system will be able to provide you, the technology will be able to provide you with qualified candidates that meet that criteria and rank them based upon your specification. And this is semantic. We'll talk about that later. So, innovation, I just mentioned the 6 Sense technology. That's our matching technology solution. Career network help employers to be really present across internet and our social network platform here. And CMO, that is the solution I mentioned. But the good news about that solution is that it's cloud. So we can do that on any resume database, not only Monster. Even if you're not doing business with Monster, we can you can leverage that technology to find qualified candidates. Once again, our inspiration is really to make sure we can improve people's lives, meaning seekers looking for the best employer to work for and employers who hire talented candidates. That's where my team really comes into play, making sure the match is perfect. So now I mentioned to you guys we want to talk about Monster, give you some background, talk about big data, and then the solution to win with big data. And here is how the big data has been something Monster has been living with from day one. What is happening on Monster side every 1 minute? Every 1 minute, there are 44 job searches, meaning people looking for jobs. Every 1 minute, there are 2,500 job views. So, and every 1 minute, there are 22 new resumes that are created on Monster site. Every 1 minute. Just imagine what's happening every hour, every day, and then every month. That's a huge amount of data. And that is big data that Monster has been living with from the get-go. And our goal here today is to go through how you can find a solution to address that big data. And when you have your talent, it's very important to really understand, profile, and also segment the talent that never before, because the volume of data is so big. It's not something you can afford doing manually. So, big data continues. Here, on Monster side, every single month, we have 117 million unique visitors, meaning people coming to our site. And we have to understand their behavior, what they're doing, what they will do. We are part of the top 50 most visited site in the world. And number of resume, more than 140 million resume that we have to go through. And the next one here, in US and Canada, there are 20 million companies from Dun & Bradstreet. So we have to understand not only our job seekers, but also to understand our employers, what they're doing, and how we can make sure we're targeting the most valuable one and to retain them. Not only we acquire, but retention is key. So this is big data that Monster has been living from day one. And the big data is not a challenge unique to Monster. It's a challenge for everyone, mostly in today's business. What is that? 800% increase. The data will increase by 800% within the next 5 years. And 80% of that data, it's unstructured. Unstructured means conversation, means email, means your resume, means the phone communication that you will have with customer service provider, chat, social media conversation. So all that data is the most part of what we have available as a data. And the interesting thing is we have been focusing on the structured data with relational database. And now the future is there on structure. And companies that will be really successful are those that will focus on leveraging that unstructured data because the volume of data will just keep on increasing. And this is from Gartner, that's the story early last year. 800% increase, big data. 80% unstructured. And the good news from that big data is that it comes with challenges, but also opportunities. In US alone, McKinsey Global Institute predict that there will be a need for 1.5 million data analysts, meaning people being able to transform the data into actionable intelligence. So that's good news for people being in analytics and also in marketing, making sure they can really help to transform the data into intelligence. So this is big data. Now, I'm going to talk about some challenges that are very familiar to everyone here if you run a business. Major challenges, business objective. Number one, we're talking about retention, customer satisfaction, customer retention. Number two, we need to make sure that we can increase our business, acquiring new customer. Number three, increase the wallet share of our existing customer and reduce costs. In this global competitive market, it's also manage the competition. So Monster, as a global company, decided to take the data-driven road, leveraging business intelligence, market research to achieve that goal. Those business objectives are general. Any single company will be able to really say, yes, this one we're focusing on, or we should be focusing on. So my goal today is really to share with you our story at Monster. First and foremost, how we leverage advanced business analytics to address those business challenges. So we start with business analytics. When I was writing the book, we have to define advanced business analytics. It seems like very technical or something like you need a degree in mathematics or statistics to understand. But it's pretty simple. Business analytics, it's really a business analytics that starts with a business challenge. What is my business challenge that I would like to address? Increase my customer retention, acquire new business, reduce costs, or increase the wallet share growth. So once I have that challenge in mind, then I think about, do I have the data that I can leverage to address the business challenge? But leverage that data is not about providing or producing a report. It's about anticipating the future, how you can predict that those customers that you have today, they will leave or they are at risk to turn to the competition in the next month. And when you're able to do that, you need some action. So we start with the business challenge. We have our data. And with that data, we put some intelligence, technology, we address the business problem. So always addressing the business problem. This is really advanced business analytics. It's about focusing on predicting the future. So 3 steps. We unlock, predict, and optimize. We unlock because the volume of data is so big, it's huge, and we need some technology to do that. And then prediction is key. You predict, always predict, and it's the only way you can differentiate yourself from the competition. And then you optimize. You optimize your marketing, you optimize your sales, your customer service, and so forth. Now, what is our dream at Monster? Is that our customer touch points, sales reps, marketing, customer service, they should be able to know their customer intimacy. They should be able to know what the customer wants, needs, and preferences, and have some decisions that are supported by business intelligence. If the competition is not doing that, it will be reactive. And that's what we hope. So I said at the beginning of my talk today, there are 5 slides. This is number 1 to keep in mind, is the virtuous process of business analytics. So pretty simple. The first step when you want to do business analytics, leverage that to address your acquisition, retention, or upsell, is you identify business challenges that you would like to address, number 1, where analytics will be able to help you. So you transform then step 2, your big data or little data into actionable intelligence. And then number 3, you have to act on that intelligence, not only producing intelligence. And oftentimes when I give presentation, I always say, there's no room for intellectual curiosity in today's business. So if you produce some intelligence, you have to act on that intelligence. But also, after acting, you have to track, you have to measure. It's the only way you can prove to the business that it was worth it to do analytic or to run a marketing campaign to retain at-risk customers. And then, step number 5, innovation. You have to innovate, meaning add or remove something from existing product, service, to wow your customer. First slide to keep in mind, the virtuous process. And I think it's something that probably some of you are using, and if you're not using, it's something that can be very helpful. Slide number 2, I'm giving them to you in a row. This slide is very personal to me. It's personal because when I started working for Monster 8.5 years ago, my 8-year-old daughter was born. And I was hired to implement the business analytics at Monster from scratch. So I was able to see the evolution of my baby and my work at Monster. So I will start with my baby. She was born, like every parent. You know, you want to make sure that your baby, she's there, screaming. Wow, she's screaming, she's alive. And a couple of months later, she was sitting up. We enjoyed that. Little baby screaming, now she can sit up, and we enjoyed that moment. The next thing was she started crawling, my wife and I. Wow, she's crawling, come on, with throwing tools. We enjoyed that moment. And then later down, was back in January, weather, and I said I'm from Montreal, the weather could be very, very nasty in Montreal and cold in January, very cold. So I was coming back from work, my daughter she was holding the table, and then all of a sudden, lift up, start walking. And my wife said, wow, she's walking. We enjoy every single moment. We enjoy that. And guess now what's happening? She said, Daddy, let's go, ice skating. We enjoy that. Baby steps approach. And I was able at Monster to do the same thing here. The first thing I did at Monster was, number 1, do we have the data? It's the foundation. It's like when you're building a house. If the foundation is not solid, your house won't last. So my first question was asking people, and I know this question will be familiar to most of you. How many customers do we have? I asked that question to 4 different groups. And guess how many answers I got? 4 good answers. I asked to marketing people, number of customers, number of people to whom we mailed last month. Customer service, sales. So the first thing to do is to make sure that you have a solid data foundation, that people are talking the same language. When you say customer, I mean customer from sales, from service, from product, it's the same. It's a standard. So integrate, manage, and standardize your data foundation. So the next thing I was able to do after enjoying the baby that was crawling and now putting together some dashboard to explain what happened to people, because we don't jump to the next level that is future, what is happening, predictive model. Baby steps approach, because the business is not there, was to provide them some statistic about sales. Sales by product, by industry, by location, and some of the stuff they already really knew. So dashboard, people love it. And then when you're with them, you can bring them to the next level about what happened and now what is happening and why this is happening and then what will happen. And then here we talk about segmentation, predictive model, trying to anticipate the behavior of your existing customer or acquiring new customer based upon predictive model. And business analytics helps to address 3 questions. What's happened, what will happen, and what's happening. And then when you do that, you measure here. And once again, the innovation. Let's ice skating, then we can do some fancy stuff. So when you do business analytics, we have to make sure that we have an implementation model that's really pretty solid, and the do and not do. And a quick question for you. Who will vote for corporate business analytic project that failed, not come to fruition? Number 1, number 2, number 3? 3, exactly, 3. 70 to 80% of them don't come to fruition. So this is how I explain what my team does to CFO, business challenges, and then business intelligence solution that I won't really go through because I want to make sure we go to the next slide, number 3. Only 1 left. So number 3 here, those are the key business challenges that, as I said, you guys will also have, and most will have those challenges on a global scale. So, and how we do that, we leverage advanced business analytics. So our goal was to score and segment companies in Canada and US and make sure we can provide the sales organization and marketing with actionable intelligence. So we do that leveraging big data, internal, external, and social data, putting that in a predictive model, coming up with a score, and then segment to make sure that sales and marketing they can act on. So now slide number 3 to keep in mind here. Here, and this is something I want you guys, if you can keep, number 3, is this segment grid. Because with this little segment here, you can run all your marketing or sales strategy. It's 2 axes. Here, the propensity that your customer will leave, and on the y-axis, the lifetime value. So if you are a marketing manager that you're running your retention program, where would you focus first? 9, number 9, 7, 8, 9, because they are at risk, very high risk to churn, but also very valuable customers. So with this segment grid here, we're able to run our CRM campaign to go after our very valuable customers that were at risk. And this was global, not only in the US and Canada. We expanded that to Europe. And we do the same thing for acquisition, making sure we can target really the 7, 8, and 9 using this segment grid. And once again, the result. The result here was an increase in customer satisfaction, customer retention. The customer retention increase, we're able to increase the customer retention by 15%. The wallet share grew by 27%. And then the sales and marketing productivity by 40% because they were leveraging advanced business analytic, more targeted approach. So this is a great example how you can leverage big data and analytics to really be successful in your strategy. The global implementation, as I said, is really baby steps approach. We started in Canada as a small market, so we can test and learn if it's working. Then we expand it in US, and then Europe, Asia Pac, and then we got our global coverage. Now, conclusion here. As I said from the get-go, business analytics starts with business challenge. If there's no business challenge, don't do business analytics. You have to make sure you have something that you want to address, the most pressing need of your business. And then you need a vision, you need people to do that, you need software, then you can do your predictive model. Just a reminder in terms of the highlight from the book that I mentioned. This is like building a house. This is a framework that Dr. J.C. Harriott and myself we came up with about business analytics. It started with a business challenge, and then you need your big data or little data as a foundation, and then you have the analytic implementation plan that you have to think about. And the next pillar here is really insight. Insight means all type of analytics that you can do, whether it's reporting, it's a predictive model, segmentation, social media analytics, unstructured data analytics, loss goes there. It's really about transforming the big data into actionable intelligence. And that is something that is part of the book. And you have to distribute that knowledge from business analytics. And the next one is really the execution and the tracking. You have to track the result. And the last one, always think about innovation, how you can add or improve the existing solution, the existing service, the existing product. So this is number 4 slide that I want you guys really keep in mind because it's critical. And this is part of the book, very well covered in the book that we just published 2 weeks ago. And it's called The Business Analytics Successful Pillars. So, in conclusion today, just reminding you the key slide here that you have to keep in mind, and this is the book. There is a giveaway that we organized today, so the person who will be able to retweet about the conference will be able to win the book. You can stop by Loyalty World Desk at 149. I think there will be a draw for the book. So if you have the most retweet count, you will be able to win a copy of the book. It's a non-technical book. It's for CMO, CEO that want to leverage business analytics to be successful. And the book is available on Amazon, and went to Chicago 2 weeks ago for the book signing and book launch. So that's everything I have to share with you today, and I hope you enjoy this story, and be happy to take a question if you do have. Thank you. Any question?
If there are no questions, I've got one question for you here. Many of the things that you spoke about were focusing on business problems first.
Yeah.
And I think we polled the room, they'd have a very long list of business problems. Mm-hmm. What's one method that you use to help decide where to focus first?
Very good question. And I think it's really looking at the company most pressing need, most pressing goal. If the company most pressing goal is increase customer retention, because this is my personal view, you have to make sure you can keep existing customer before you can even think about acquiring new one because you don't know them. So I would say you align your business challenge to the customer, the company most pressing needs, and make sure that that business challenge is shared across the company. Because when you implement this solution, you need collaboration from other departments of the organization. So I would say link that to the most pressing company business goal. Is the way we prioritize.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.